Hello students, welcome to ASPRED. My name is Gaganapi. In today's class, we'll deal about the next chapter, that is chemical bonding of class 11. So what is chemical bonding? Matter is made up of one or different types of elements or substances. So in matter, what happens? A group of atoms exists together as one species and it has a characteristic properties. Attractive force which holds various constituents together in different chemical species is called a chemical bond. So for this, the various theories of valencies and the interpretation of the nature of the chemical bonds has led to the development of the understanding of the structure of atom, the electronic configuration, and the periodic table. So few models are Corsa-Lewis approach of Lewis theory and so these theories gave upon an assumption of how a chemical bond is formed or how atoms are held together in a molecule. They both gave a special contribution for the atom and their valencies. So they provided the logical explanation of valencies called kernels, nucleus plus inner electrons. And the outer shell electrons could accommodate a maximum of 8 electrons. So, outer electron of sodium will occupy one corner of the cube, and in noble gases, all the 8 corners will be occupied. So, the next one is proposed by the Lewis. So, he gave an atom are called Lewis symbols or Lewis notations. And according to Lewis symbol, the symbol of the element represents the nuclei by dots or crosses around the symbol. So the valencies of lithium, beryllium, boron and carbon are 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. And the valencies of nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine are 3 to 1 respectively. See here we can see lithium 1 valence electron, beryllium 2, boron 3, carbon 4. Nitrogen is 3, but the outer electron is written as 5. This is the total significance of Lewis symbol. See, number of dots are group valency of that element. So the group valency of the elements is equal to the number of dots in the Lewis symbol, or 8 minus the number of dots of represents the dots around that particular element, or if you want to calculate, so 8 is the object one, so it is taken as that. So in periodic table, the highly electronegative halogens and highly electropositive alkali metals are separated by the noble gases. And negative ions are formed from a halogen atom and positive ions are formed from alkali metal atom, which is ions which is obtained. It represents the stable noble gas electronic configuration. So the noble gases, they have a particularly stable outer shell electronic configuration of 8 electrons, that is Ns2 and Np6. For example, the formation of NaCl from sodium and chlorine according to the above scheme, which is explained as sodium taking the configuration of the noble gas as neon, as it consists of 8 completely and it is 3s1 sodium plus Ne. So one electron is removed, so it is 10 electrons. So chlorine plus, so it is R bond. Here after the conversion it is converted to ion. The electronic configuration of the chlorine corresponds to the argon inert gas. So it is sodium plus chlorine minus give rise to NaCl. So the bond which is formed as a result of the electrostatic attraction charge on the ion. So the next one is octet rule. So Purcell and Lewis in 1916, they developed an important theory of chemical either by the transfer of valence electrons from one atom to another or by sharing of valence electrons in order to have an octet in their valence shell. So this is known as the octet rule. So the next is covalent bond. So when two atoms share each of one pair with each other, the corresponding atom, and they are joined by a covalent bond. So it is called, if there is one bond, it is single covalent bond. In many compounds, we have multiple bonds between them. So if two atoms shares two pairs of electrons, then the covalent bond will be double bond. In carbon dioxide molecule, we have two double bonds between the carbon and oxygen atom. So similarly, in ethene molecule, two carbon atoms are joined by a double bond. So when there is a 3 electron pair sharing in case of a nitrogen atoms in the molecule and 2 carbon atoms in the ethane molecule, a triple bond is formed indicating a triple covalent bond. So the next is Lewis representation of simple molecules. So the Lewis dot structure, it provides a picture of bonding in molecules and ions in terms of the shared pair of electrons and the octet root. So based upon the number of sharing electrons and the octet roots required for writing these structures are obtained by adding the valence electrons of the combining atoms. For example, in CH4 molecule, there are 8 valence electrons which is available for bonding, 4 from carbon atom and 4 from hydrogen atom. For anions, each negative charge means addition of 1 electron. So for cations, each positive charge resembles subtraction or deletion of 1 electron from the total number of valence electrons. For example, in CO3 2 minus ions, the 2 negative charge indicate that there are 2 additional electrons than those provided by the neutral atoms. For NH4 plus ion, 1 positive charge indicates the loss of 1 electron from the group of neutral atoms. So knowing the chemical symbols of the combining atoms and having the knowledge of the skeletal structure of the compound, so we can distribute the total number of electrons as bonding shared pairs between the atoms is proportional to the total bonds. So in general, what happens? In NH3 and CO3 2 minus molecules, the nitrogen and carbon are the central atoms, whereas chlorine and oxygen, they occupy the terminal positions. So after accounting the shared pair of electrons for single bonds, so what happens? The remaining electron pairs are utilized either for multiple bonding or they get converted as lone pairs. So the basic requirement is that each bonded atom gets an octet pair of electrons. So this is the Lewis representation of the molecules. H2, one hydrogen, each shares a electron pair, and this is the Lewis representation. Oxygen, the same, as the oxygen is double bonded. In O3 molecule, it is one double bond and one single bond. In NF3, all the atoms, see, we can see here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is the valence electrons, and here is the one bond from the nitrogen. It consists of 2 electrons, so 8 electrons. It is completing the octet. In CO3 2 minus also it is the same. HNO3, it is O double bonded N, single bonded O, H and O. This is HNO3 molecule. So the next is formal charge. The formal charge of an atom in a polyatomic molecule or ion is defined as the difference between the number of valence electrons of an atom in an isolated or free state. So, and the number of electrons assigned to that atom in the Lewis structure. And the counting of the formal charge is based on the assumption that the atom in the molecule is correspondingly one electron of each shared pair and both the electrons of a lone pair. And formal charge help in the selection of the lowest energy structure from a number of possible Lewis structures for a given species. So this is the way where atoms are numbered as 1, 2 and 3. The formal charge for the O3 molecule, central atom O is marked as, or anything we can take it as, 1 is equals to 6 minus 2 minus of half. So that is the valence electrons minus the bonded one, and it is the half is the formula, and it is the number of electrons is 6 here. So that is plus 1. The end oxygen atom marked as 2, which is 6 minus 4 minus half into 4. So the same oxygen marked 3, it is the same of minus 1. So this is how the formal charge is calculated based upon the number of bonded atoms and the lone pair electrons or the oxygen atoms surrounded or bonded with the other atom. And the formal charges do not indicate the real charge separation within the molecule, as indicating the charge on the atoms in the lowest structure help in only identifying the valence electrons. And the lowest energy structure is the one with the smallest formal charges on the atom. And the formal charge is a factor which is based on the pure covalent bonding in which the electron pairs are shared equally by the neighboring atoms. So then what are the limitations of the octet rule? So the incomplete octet of the central atom. So what happens in some compounds, the number of electrons which is surrounding the central atom is less than the 8. So this is where in case of elements which have less than the 4 valence electrons, examples are lithium chloride, beryllium hydride and BCl3. Lithium, beryllium and boron have 1, 2 and 3 valence electrons only. And some other compounds like AlCl3 and BF3 also. So the incomplete octet is also satisfied in this case of molecules. Odd electron molecules. So in molecules with an odd number of electrons like nitric oxide, NO and nitrogen dioxide, NO2, the octet rule is not satisfied for all the atoms. So in case of NO2 and NO, so the octet cannot be satisfied. The expanded octet. So in third period of the periodic table, apart from 3s and 3p orbitals, 3d orbitals are also available for bonding. In a number of compounds of these elements, there are more than 8 valence electrons around the central atom. So this is termed as the expanded octet. So obviously what happens? The octet rule do not apply in such cases, as there are more than 8 valence electrons. So some of the examples are PF5, SH6, H2SO4 and many other coordination compounds, especially D block elements. So then what are the drawbacks of this octet theory? So it is clear that octet rule, which is based upon the chemical inertness of the noble gases. So some expression or some exceptions of the noble gases are, for example, xenon and krypton, if they combine with oxygen and fluorine to form a compound like XeF2, KrF2, that is krypton, Xe0F2. And this theory do not apply for the shape of the molecules. And it couldn't explain the relative stability of the molecules, about the energy also of the molecule. Ionic or electrovalent bond. See, the formation of ionic compound, it primarily depends upon the formation of the positive and the negative ions from the respective neutral atoms. And the arrangement of the positive and negative ions in the solid corresponds to the lattice of the crystalline compound. And the formation of positive ions involves the ionization or the removal of electron from the neutral atom, and the negative ions included the addition of electrons to the neutral atom. So M give rise to M plus, that is loss of electron, this is ionization enthalpy. So if it gains an electron, this is electron gain enthalpy. So when this is combined, you get Mx, that is the ionic compound. The electron gain enthalpy delta EGH is the enthalpy change when a gaseous atom in its ground state gains an electron. And this electron gain process may be exothermic or endothermic. And the ionization, on the other hand, is always endothermic. Electron affinity is the negative of the energy change of the accompanying electron gain of the atom. Ionic bonds will be formed more easily between the elements with comparatively low ionization enthalpies and the elements with the high value of the electron gain enthalpy. And the ionic compounds are arranged in a 3D arrangements of cations and anions, which are held together by Coulombic interaction energies. And the qualitative measure of the stability of the ionic compound, which is provided by its enthalpy of lattice formation and the octet electrons around the ionic bond formation. So this lattice enthalpy of ionic solid is referred to as the energy which is required for completely separate 1 mole of a solid ionic compound into its gaseous ions. For example, the lattice enthalpy of sodium chloride is 788 kilojoule per mole, which means that 788 kilojoule of energy is required to separate 1 mole of solid NaCl into 1 mole of Na plus and 1 mole of Cl minus ion at an infinite distance. So the next is bond parameters. Bond length. So what is a bond length? So bond length is defined as the equilibrium distance between the nuclei of two bonded atoms in a molecule. And these each atom of the is called the covalent radius. So what is covalent radius then? So this is the radius of an atom's core, which is contact with the radius core of an adjacent atom in a bonded manner. The covalent radius is half of the distance between the two similar atoms which are joined by a covalent bond in the same molecule. So the next is van der Waals radius. The van der Waals radius, which represents the overall size of the atom, which includes in its valence shell in a non-bonded situation. So then what is van der Waals radius? Is the half of the distance between two similar atoms in separate molecules in a solid. So two different similar atoms, it is taken as half of the distance between two different similar atoms in a solid. This is the bond length of various bonds of the van der Waals radius. OH, the bond length is 96, CH is 107, NO is 136. So the next is bond angle. So it is defined as the angle between the orbitals which is containing bonding electrons. So this bond angle gives an idea regarding the distribution of orbitals around the central atom in a molecule or a complex ion. So it helps in determining the shape of the molecule. Say for example, HOH bond angle in water is represented as the number of pairs around the central atom in a molecule or a complex ion. Bond enthalpy. So this bond enthalpy is defined as the amount of energy required to break 1 mole of bonds of a particular type between two atoms in a gaseous state. So the unit of bond. For example, the hydrogen-hydrogen bond enthalpy in a hydrogen molecule is 435.8 kilojoule per mole, that is H2, give rise to H plus H, that is delta AH is equals to 435.8 kilojoule per mole. So in case of polyatomic molecules, the measurement of bond strength is more complicated. For example, in case of H2O molecule, the enthalpy which is needed to break two OH bonds is not the same. So H2O, it breaks into H and OH, that is the delta H is O. So the amount of energy is also high here, 427 kilojoule per mole. So the difference in the bond formation for the first and the second undergoes some changes due to the chemical environment changes. So in polyatomic molecules, the term mean or average as explained below in case of the water molecule. So average bond enthalpy is 502 plus 427 by 2, which is equal to 464.5 Kelvin per mole. So the next is bond order. Bond order is given by the number of bonds between the two atoms in a molecule. So the bond order, for example, in hydrogen and in oxygen, in nitrogen, it is 1 and 2 and 3. Hydrogen, 1 shared pair. Oxygen, 2 shared pair of electrons. Nitrogen, 3 shared pair of electrons. Similarly, in CO also, this is 3 shared pair of electrons and the bond order is 3. For N2, it is 3. It is 946 kilojoule. So this is for the bond order is highest for the diatomic molecule in case of N2. And the isoelectron molecules and ions also have the same identical bond orders. F2 and O2 2 minus also have same bond. So the number of electrons are same, but the atomic number is different in case of isoelectronic molecules. So they have bond order N2, CO and O plus also have bond order 3. So understanding the stabilities of the molecules with the increase in bond order, bond enthalpy increases and bond length increases. So the next is resonance structures. See, the concept of resonance was introduced to deal with the difficulty in depicting the accurate structures of the molecules like O3 and all, because they had 3 different structures. So the concept of resonance states that a single Lewis structure cannot describe a molecule accurately, and a number of structures with similar energy, position of nuclei, bonding and non-bonding pairs of electrons are taken as the canonical structures of the hybrid, and it determines the molecule accurately. So thus for O3 molecule, the 2 structures which is shown above, it constitute the canonical structures or the resonance structures and their hybrid. So that is the third structures represent the structure of O3 more accurately, and this is called the resonant hybrid, and resonance is usually represented by a double-headed arrow. So this is the double-headed arrow indicating the resonance. And this resonance stabilizes the molecules as the energy of the resonance hybrid is less than the energy of the single canonical structure. Resonance averages the bond characteristics as a 4. Thus, the energy of the O3 resonance hybrid is lower than either of the 2 canonical forms 1 and 2. So the next is polarity of bonds. So when shared pair of electrons is equally attracted by 2 atoms, the electron pair, why it is a nonpolar covalent bond? Because it is attracted by the 2 atoms, which is the distance between them, 2 nuclei is identical, H2, O2, Cl2, N2 or F2. So this is called non-polar covalent bond. So when the shared electron pair between the 2 atoms, if it gets displaced between more electronegative atom, the resultant covalent bond is a polar covalent bond. So HF and HCl is a polar covalent bond, as fluorine and chlorine are electronegative atoms. Fluorine is the highest electronegative atom. So it displaces the hydrogen atom towards itself, or it pulls you towards itself. So as a result, what happens? Polarization happens, and the molecule also possesses the dipole moment. Thank you for watching. Let us continue in the next class from ASPREP. Thank you.